How Elon Musk hires employees.
When I interview somebody, I really just ask them to tell me the story of their career. What are some of the tougher problems that they dealt with?
We mostly see the traditional way of hiring people through interviews. People think they get the best talent for their company this way. But what if I tell you that the conventional method is time-consuming and irresolute? A person you're recruiting can be a good fit for the post, or they are just great at interviews. Besides, qualifications, education, and degrees, one should get hired for having the knowledge and necessary ability for the position. Hiring the best candidate is significant for the growth of a company. A wrong hire can be costly and bring extra work for the staff related to recruitment. Elon Musk has invented a successful way of selecting the best talent for a company to solve this problem. Musk says that skills are more important than degrees. So, he has been utilizing this process for hiring the brightest minds from around the world in his companies, Tesla and SpaceX, for a long time. However, his hiring process needs two hands: first-hand experience and hands-on testing. The two-hands test screens applicants without using conventional gateways like degrees. Instead, it approves applicants by examining their practical knowledge and hands-on experience. Any growing organization can use this straightforward procedure to find the top talent because it was made for simplicity and effectiveness, like any well-engineered process or product. First-hand experience. There's a lot of controversy going on regarding experience versus education. Although Musk prioritizes experience, he doesn't want to depend merely on it. Instead, Musk believes experience is an educational method. In other words, the best education. A study from the Association of American Colleges and Universities supports Musk's claims unintentionally. First-hand experience is self-explanatory. Candidates with first-hand experience relevant to the position they are being hired for pass the first challenge. For instance, when reviewing applicants, it is deemed that those who have the relevant experience to start working immediately or need the minimum amount of training to succeed in the position. Hands-on testing. The second hand test is hands-on testing, which is also an amazing way to find out the abilities of candidates. Although it takes a little more preparation and thought in this process, you will definitely have a better idea of how a candidate will perform in challenging situations. The conventional hiring process depends heavily on the question and answer method. Unlike the typical hiring process, hands-on testing includes practical testing. Harvard indicates testing the candidates in advance before the interview even happens. As a recruiter, you can arrange a traditional interview with the candidates after overcoming the two-hand test. This process may save some of your valuable time. The two-hand test will also guarantee that only the top applicants are given serious consideration for a position. How to implement the two-hands technique? Want to implement Elon Musk's two-hand testing in hiring? First, you'll need to analyze your recruitment process. Hiring managers shouldn't pay too much attention to university degrees and qualifications. Instead, they should look into skills and experiences related to the role. Your company should hire those who have the required skills and expertise. Others should go to your company's thanks but no thanks letter. Candidates who pass the first test should be contacted with the practical test details before the interview. After the practical test, it is easy for the recruiting manager to select the best candidate. You have to recall that setting a practical test is the hardest part of this technique. To make sure you aren't making any mistakes, you should only consider the key skills necessary for the post. Create a realistic scenario for the practical test. It can be creating a business strategy, a presentation, or a mini project. How the two-hand technique identifies talent faster. The conventional recruitment process can be unfair sometimes. Some people perform better in the interviews rather than having the needed skills. Moreover, candidates can Google the best answers for the interview and get prepared ahead. In opposition, the two-hands technique doesn't care how fluently the candidate answers all the questions. The test only asks, does the applicant have the deep knowledge and experience needed to fill the position? There are so many talented people eagerly waiting to work for leading companies. If you implement this two-hands technique in hiring, you'll have some quality people who can construct a leading business. Whatever the position you are looking for, the two-hands hiring process can assist you in identifying and hiring the right person for your company. Degrees or qualifications don't always determine who is talented. You have to put them aside and find who is confident and has the needed skills to fit in a position in your company. To sum it up, I believe Elon Musk is concerned with finding and appointing the best candidates for his company. The most qualified applicants are sometimes those who lack a degree but still can indicate competence and experience in their specialized field. And in doing so, Musk indirectly sends a message to millions of people worldwide that it is possible to be successful and effective, even for non-graduates. Musk listed 4 characteristics that I think are critical for anyone looking to construct a great team. Musk said, a super hardcore work ethic, talent for building things, common sense, and trustworthiness are required. The rest we can train. I think every leader can agree that finding, recruiting, and developing top talent is one of the sole biggest challenges facing any growing business. Hiring the wrong people can be costly in terms of both time and resources. That's why it's worth understanding what characteristics actually contribute to making a candidate a top performer. Hardcore work ethic. While I can't speak for what a hardcore work ethic looks like at SpaceX, I think every manager would agree that they need people who are dedicated to their job. The goal of the hiring process is to locate people who will work hard and deliver good results. To be clear, I don't think a hardcore work ethic means that your employees should be overworked or that their lives should be out of balance. I think it means the opposite, in fact. You should look for people who show up ready to dive in and work towards your company's common purpose. Talent for building things. Even if your company isn't in the business of building rockets, this might be one of the more underrated characteristics. First of all, building things can mean one of several things. In Musk's case, he was literally talking about building things, as in building rockets. The jobs that he was promoting at the time were production jobs, but I don't think this quality is limited to hands-on assembly. But it can also signify people who are very good at looking at what needs to be done and putting together a plan to make it happen, even from nothing. As an entrepreneur, building things is one of the most significant roles. Surrounding yourself with others with a similar talent means you can multiply your efforts. Those types of people, the ones who have a talent for building things, are likely to contribute in any role. Common sense. It should probably go without saying that you want to hire people with common sense. The problem is, it's often a rare commodity, and it's very hard to teach. You might even argue that common sense is, unfortunately, not very common. Common sense is really the ability to understand a situation and make the right judgment about how to respond. As a manager, you are counting on your team to make good decisions, even if you're not there. That means recognizing that common sense is often more valuable than any particular skill. Trustworthiness. Finally, you should only hire people you would trust with the company's credit card. I'm not suggesting you should give every employee a credit card. That's probably not necessary. I do think, however, that if you don't feel comfortable with the judgment and character of the people in front of you, hiring them is probably a mistake. Often, when companies are growing quickly, they default to hiring people who are qualified, regardless of their character. Except good character is maybe the most important qualification. Hiring someone who is untrustworthy just because they have a fancy degree or expertise is a mistake. Even when there's a lot of work to do, you almost always end up with more in the long run when you have to fix whatever problem they cause. It's worth mentioning that Musk closes by suggesting that you really don't have to know anything about rockets. The rest we can train, he stated. That's true for every business. If you find people who have these traits, you can almost always teach them how to do a specific job. More importantly, however, you can't train these 4 characteristics, which is why it is so important to find the right people to begin with.